What?
You. Because they said you were doing Cousin Eddie. You were out there in your hat and your bathrobe doing your septic system into the...
I know my rights! I do that on the order picker. They're like, hey, Andy. I'm like, I know my rights.
Cheers, everybody.
Welcome, everybody.
How are you today?
Good.
So we're back for another exciting episode for probably one of my most favorite distilleries. I'm really excited. So hopefully you are too. We're going to do a Texas distillery, so let us know what your favorite Texas distillery is. And if you've tried Andalusia, tell us how you feel about them. Make sure that... Are you with us?
I think we need a pause for a minute because my nose is starting to run really bad.
We'll be right back, folks.
Yeah, it's Jeff Dunham.
All right, folks, we're back. Andy had to
Have a nose issue.
His wee little nose was runny.
Yeah, I didn't want to have that on camera.
So we're back, and we're going to look at Andalusian whiskey here, which Andalusia is down in south central Texas, Blanco area, hill country. And I remember the very first time my wife and I went there. We were driving north out of Fredericksburg, and I was driving. She was just looking at the scenery, and she's like, I think you just passed a distillery. Well, let's go check it out.
And he did the...
So two things just made me really excited. My wife said we passed a distillery, and she told me about it and said we should go back. So we actually did a giant U-turn in the middle of the state highway and went back, and they are a great bunch of people, really nice, great place to visit. So if you ever get a chance, go down there. They have a bunch of different whiskeys. We actually have one that they no longer produce, that Pearl, which is divine.
So is that north, south, east, or west of Fredericksburg?
Northeast.
Northeast.
So this is, and they're not paying me to say this, guys, so don't think I'm sponsoring them. But this is the Andalusian, and this is their last in the series that we've covered so far. So we've covered their Reverend Oak, which is a peated whiskey, their single malt whiskey, their single malt whiskey that's aged in a Garrison Brothers, I think. Their white and their pearl. We have their pearl, which is no longer produced. It's kind of like a new make. And their white, which is a non-aged stuff.
Yeah.
What's really nice about Andalusian is they normally smoke their whiskey, their barley, their stuff in imported peat from Scotland. But that's not what Stryker is.
And I think I actually saw the Whiskey Tribe video where they went down there.
Oh, probably because
they went into a smokehouse and they showed them how they were doing it.
I think Crowded Barrel is just probably 30, 40 minutes away. I'm not sure if Cody's ever been there, but I've been there a few times. They're out there in the middle of nowhere. So this is their Stryker. It's a smoked whiskey, malted barley, and then they dry it in, normally they dry it in peat, imported peat from Scotland. This is in Texas oak, mesquite, and applewood. So it's got a very unique woody smoked flavor. Comes in at $49.99, so that's kind of average for a...
So I want to understand, they do the barley, they dry it on the peat and the wood chips and stuff?
So no, they have basically a smokehouse. They malt the barley, which is getting it wet until it's malted, and then they put it on these little drying racks, and depending on what they're doing,
and they smoke it with.
So their Reverend Oak
I
is a single malt that's peated, so they use the imported peat to help dry it.
Yeah.
So if you don't know about malted barley, when you get it wet to get that it's starting to break
Yeah,
open.
you wet it and you let it
Malt.
germinate.
Yeah. And so then you have to dry it to stop it.
Stop it, yeah.
There's several different ways you can do that. What makes the Islay, Scotch Islay, so famous is that they dry it with smoked peat, which is a grass. A lot of the other Irish whiskeys, there's some that do peated, not a lot, but there's some that do peated. But the other way you can dry it is with just a floor.
Just heat.
Yeah, you just do a floor dry where you spread it out and it's producing its own heat and you're always rotating it. And you might be pumping in peat smoke, or you might be pumping in more traditional for the rest of the world is going to be just a coal-fired peat or a coal-fired heat. They take advantage of all sorts of different things. They do the peat, and then for this specific one, they don't do the peat. They put the wood chips, the mesquite, and I think Del Bach, which we have somewhere, which is out of Arizona, does a mesquite, and it's pretty smoky. And then we have Acre has a smoked one, and I think theirs is done with a Texas scrub brush. So there's different ways you can dry your malted barley. They happen to do Texas oak, mesquite, and applewood.
Well, in malted barley, they use it for beer and everything too. So
Well, yeah. In fact, a lot of the craft whiskey comes out of old beer distiller or bitter brewers.
yeah, that's a big thing now is where they take the leftover malted barley from the brewing process, and then they distill that.
Right. So, yeah, because like our favorite place when I was younger is Rogue, Bayfront Brewery, Rogue Distilleries, and now they're doing a whiskey. Acre, which is our local favorite. The guy that owns Acre comes out of the beer business. So a lot of people. I think Balcones, I think the master distiller out of Balcones comes out of the beer business. So a lot of people do. $49.99, that's going to make it a one barrel. It's a 50 proof, or I'm sorry, 50% or 100 proof, no age statement. Took a long way to get here, right?
Yeah.
Mm. It took us so long to get to this point that the studio audience already drank all theirs. They're all empty.
They're asleep. They're taking naps.
This is absolutely unique to me. And so I'm going to add a couple drops of water and see what that does to... I get people that leave comments like, what is this that we're putting in? It's just a water dropper. If you visit lots of bars and stuff, it might be a good investment to pick one up. Most bars will give you at least a cup of water that you can put things. But what water does is it opens up, it just separates the oils and opens up the flavor and aroma. I have a bunch of these scattered throughout the area here. Okay, so that's a big change to me on flavor. So $49.99. That's a 1 barrel. For aroma, I give it a 4. You also give it a 4. I find a very strong smoked apple, not mesquite. I can usually tell mesquite because we live in mesquite country and people are always burning it and stuff.
Smoking.
I'm getting the apple more than anything. A little bit of dark fruit on the nose, caramel, and strangely enough, a little bit of molasses. The sweetness is the molasses and not the vanilla sweetness.
Yeah, I gave it the caramel because the last episode I said the brown sugar.
That was on the Weller, right?
Yeah, and this one's more like caramely kind of. It does got the dark cherry flavor.
Mm-hmm. That dark fruit.
And that's with the aroma, with the taste. It's like you got the, and I don't even know what my notes say anymore. It's you got the molasses kind of.
Okay.
It's really, I don't know.
So for flavor, we each give it a 4. So we're pretty. I'll tell you right now that we did the same numbers throughout the whole rating.
For bite, for the 100 proof, this is fabulous whiskey.
So for flavor, I'm getting where I get the apple on the nose. I'm getting the mesquite on the palate. I also am getting some. It tastes like a Texas barbecue to me, and so Texas barbecue is rich and I don't know, kind of. I don't want to say tomatoey, you know, but it's got that richness, that molasses, that caramel kind of tinge to it, because they do a lot of brown sugars. They do a lot of smoke in Texas barbecue.
This
is be paired perfectly with barbecue.
This thing has a really like heavy mouth feel to it. It's not light at all. It's like
I'm getting a hint of anise, a little bit of that licorice.
Yeah, just a tiny bit.
And one of the big difference that I found is once I added water, I got a cinnamon.
Oh, I definitely have that cinnamon
which
too.
I didn't get before the water, but
when you put the water in, there's.
So we did a cocktail episode a while back, the Texas Brush Fire, where I think we used Stryker as one of our smoked whiskeys, but we're adding that to a base cinnamon whiskey, like a real cinnamon whiskey from Acre, right? Cinnamon Girl. I almost think that you don't even need the cinnamon with this as much, because this definitely gave me a cinnamon taste. And I'm with you on bite. For 100 proof, this is like
there's
nothing.
No bite.
This is dangerous because you will drink a lot.
The only thing this got against it is that $50.
Right, which leads me to our total cost, our total barrel rating with the 1 for cost, 4 across the board for everything else. This is a solid 3. It's a 13 points out of 20. It's a solid 3 barrel. Is not a 3 barrel, so we're bumping this up to a 4 barrel.
Yeah, I
whiskey.
would definitely give it a 4. This
so
stuff is good.
If we look at Reverend Oak, they're peated. We gave this a 4 barrel. If we
was
look
it
at
a bonus barrel also?
I don't believe so. This is their single malt was a 4 barrel. So I'm seeing a trend here. This is their peated single malt aged in a Garrison Brothers. That was a 3 barrel. And then their white and their pearl are up above. We can't really reach it. We could, but I think they were each 4 barrels too. We did a comparison. You can look back. So Andalusian does some solid whiskey.
Yeah,
This was a distillery only. In fact, this is only bottle 124. This is a distillery only, so you won't get that. But if you have the opportunity in your state to get Andalusian, definitely do it. If you are traveling in Texas or you're from Texas, live here, it's well worth going to. They have a really nice handmade bar, by the way. It's kind of cool, wood bar. Nice people. This is all available locally up here at our North Texas liquor stores. In fact, I was probably with Alex when Stryker was on the shelf, and I got all giddy like a little girl and screaming through the... Cheers. Picked it up. Definitely worth picking up. Andalusia does a good job.
I would say, like, the price is a little expensive, but my birthday's coming up. Wink, wink.
Everybody's birthday's coming up. My birthday's coming up.
No, your birthday is over with.
My birthday... Can you hear my heart? Is it over with?
No.
My birthday's still coming up.
For this year, your birthday is over. Mine's coming up.
I don't think so. I don't think so. 2020 lasts 4 years. I don't think 2020 is ever going to end, so my birthday will come back. I think we're reaping 5... Oh, Studio On says 2020 lasts 10 years.
We're in the Matrix now.
We're in the Matrix.
It's going.
It's the endless Groundhog Day. Cue the music.
I love you, babe.
All right. So tell us what you think about smoked whiskey in general. Non-peated smoked whiskey, because obviously Islays and Scotches and
it's got the peat on you.
Some Irish peated Connemara or whatever. They're a whole different ball game. But Texas smoked whiskey, I think now there's only 2. And then Arizona's got one, Del Bach. I think Oregon's got one. I think the Westward has a smoked whiskey, not Westland. So there are some smoked ones out there. Give them a try. Let us know what you think.
And can I say?
Yeah.
The thing with like the Texas whiskey, especially now, because we're coming out of summer and in the fall, the temperature range just...
Yeah. So this has no...
hot, it's cold, it's hot.
This has no age statement. It's only aged a day in Texas. No, I'm just joking. I had some dark whiskey. Yeah, Texas has some, probably more so than most places, some extreme, maybe Arizona, New Mexico are equivalent, but some super extreme.
Stored in the barrel, it's hot, and then it's cold, and then it's hot, and it's cold. So that makes a difference.
Yeah. I think that makes a difference. So this episode's getting long, but makes a really big difference for us because we tend to experiment a lot with aging, different whiskeys, different neutral grains in our own barrel
now,
which I don't think would be even remotely as fun and interesting if we lived in any northern state or
something,
because you don't have that fluctuation. We have put stuff in barrels that have massive changes later on. We even, in our craziness, did tequila in a barrel that had previously had whiskey, neutral grain, Merlot of a wine. We put it in there, and we are completely stunned at the flavor of that tequila.
Yeah, that's good tequila.
No, there's no good tequila. It's all sucks, but it made a big difference. So I'm just joking. So yeah, Texas is very unique. Again, tell us what you think is your favorite smoked whiskey. Well, that sounded bad. Tell us what your favorite smoked whiskey is, non-peated. Tell us what you think about Texas whiskeys. Remember to hit the like and subscribe. Check out Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and merchandise. And we do have new merch. You don't have your merch. You have your...
No, I haven't bought the new merchandise.
You still have your Magnum PI shirt on.
Yeah.
That just dated me, huh?
And I got my shorts on, too.
Remember, there's no bad whiskey. There's only good whiskey and great whiskey. And this is really great whiskey.
This is really good whiskey.
Cheers.
I'm out.